real quick. So the Indianapolis Colts have retracted season tickets. Completely retracted season tickets. But they told these season ticket holders those season tickets are going to be forwarded to next year. However, if you do not want to see any games next year, or if you don't want to take the package deal of this year, if they hold up to 25% of the fans in the stands is what they're expecting to have this year. They're expecting to hold 25% of capacity, which would be like around 15, 16 million people. Or million. Holy crap. Wow, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? 15, 16,000 people. If they can hold those people, they're going to split season tickets into two packages. Package A and Package B. Package A will have the first 4 home games of the season, and Package B will have the last 4 home games of the season. And if season ticket holders want to get one of those, then they're welcome to have them. If they don't want any of them, and they don't want the 2022 season tickets, they will be refunded their money in full promptly. I think that was smart. It also allows the team it allows ticket holders to be able to hold on and decide, hey, we might want package A, but then after the first 4 seasons is done and over with, maybe COVID kicks in harder or something, and then no seats are allowed in Lucas Oil Stadium. And if that's the case, they don't have to get package B if they don't want. Or vice versa. Maybe COVID springs up real hard before September, and then there's no seats in the stands allowed for the first 4 games. They don't have to buy those tickets. But then as it starts getting more into fall, COVID starts to break down a little bit. They won't decide, you know what, we're going to allow fans in the stands. They can get package B. Smart move by the Indianapolis Colts front office. This allows them a chance to allow other people a chance to watch a game if they want. Now, 15,000 people is not a lot of people, but that makes a home game better at least. There's still an energy that they can have. It's not 60, 70,000 people like you would normally see in Lucas Oil, but it's still something. Now, let's move on to the next order of business. The NFL has estimated, due to lack of fans in the stands, that because of that, obviously they're losing revenue from season tickets, or just tickets in general, concessions, memorabilia, things of that nature at these games. They're estimating $3 billion revenue loss just because less fans in the stands. Now, in order to help that, they are going to slap every NFL team with a $25 million cap hit. But $25 million in a single season would absolutely destroy certain teams. Now, they wouldn't destroy the Indianapolis Colts, because if they take a $25 million cap hit next year, that'll drop them to what, $80, $90 million in estimated free cap space? But teams like Dallas, teams like the Niners, teams like Kansas City, Baltimore, those teams, they'd be in the red. They would owe big money because they're already really tight on their next year's salary cap. So the NFLPA and the NFL has agreed to split that $25 million through 3 seasons. That'll mean each team will have a cap penalty of $8.3 million a season. Now, that still, obviously, it still don't hurt the Colts, and it's better off for them in the long run. But it's a massive help to those other teams that are just in massive cap trouble. So it was a smart move by the NFL and the NFLPA, in my opinion, to split that over 3 years. When I suggested it, I suggested this exact same thing 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I suggested this. But I said split it over a 5-year period. 3 years still better than trying to hit it with one, right? So I'm very happy that that happened like that. Now, something else that could affect us even more than that. As fans, this will affect us. So listen closely. The NFL and the NFLPA has agreed to allow any player to opt out of playing this season. Any player is allowed to say, I'm not playing this season because of COVID. Now, there are two types of people that are allowed to opt out. You have your high risk and your normal risk. Your high risk people are people like Von Miller. You know, Von Miller is one of those guys who has asthma. He's already contracted earlier this season, right? He has asthma. He has breathing problems. He's a high-risk player. If he decided he wanted to opt out of playing this season, there would be no penalties at all. He would keep his full salary. There would be no marks against him, anything like that. I'm very glad, very, very glad that they are allowing this. Then there's the normal risk opt-out. Guys like Russell Wilson, who's got a child on the way. Guys like Phillip Rivers, who has 10 freaking children. He can opt out of playing this season too. If a player is considered normal risk and wants to opt out, they are going to take a percentage of their salary. It'll get cut. Their salary will get cut by a set percentage. I don't know how much the percentage is. It wasn't announced. But I'm sure it'll be a big enough percentage which will kind of make players be like, that's a lot of money I'm leaving on the table for not playing and want to play football. Teddy Belcher says, Bears fans live too close to Indy. Saint fans, bad people, no football, no biscuit, but Colts playoffs and drop to Broncos. What? Oh, there are a lot of Bears fans in the general vicinity, yes. Playoffs, I don't know. I do believe the Broncos and the Colts both make the playoffs. I really do. Now, I don't know who will be better at the time. I can't say who would win over who because at that point, I don't know who's hot, who's not. I don't know where the injuries are, where the IRs happen, things of that nature. If it gets closer to the playoffs and a scenario like that happens, I would love to tell you. Why are you saying it's a fraud league? Martin Leal? I don't understand that. If you're not watching, then why are you commenting? If you don't care, then why even post? I don't understand. I mean, I care. Every fan that I know generally cares, you know. We don't want people out there catching the COVID and dying to provide a sport, right? We don't want people going out into the stands and being right up on each other and having a chance of contract. I don't want my dad out there. My dad is pushing 70 years old. If he catches it, that's not a good thing, right? He's got breathing problems. He's got heart problems. It's not something I want to happen, right? That's all I'm saying. But yeah. Hey, I want to thank everybody that's sitting here watching me here live on YouTube and on Sportscaster. Leanne Way, Texas Gal 3394, Jenny Hawk, Flying High on Sportscaster. Thanks for joining, along with the 11 others that are watching. And then, of course, the people I just noticed. the 8 people here on YouTube, along with Teddy Belcher, Martin, Leal, Mingo the Poet. I started off this stream not realizing that my mic was off. Whoops. My bad. Mingo had to let me know that. And I appreciate that a lot. But yeah. I'm really excited though, because we've been without sports forever, right? I mean, we got the NBA right now playing in this bubble, doing scrimmages this past week. The NFL is finally bringing training camp in. I want to see training camp. I want to go in and see what's going on. I want to know who's going to opt out, who's not going to opt out, right? And they could opt out for multiple reasons. They might not just opt out because of, being afraid of contracting, but also, like J.J. Watt went out and said earlier, if he has to wear a mask that covers his whole face all the way down, he won't play because he won't be able to breathe and it'll be too hot. He said that when he played with a visor, just a visor, within half of practice, he had to have that sucker removed out of his helmet because he couldn't play because it was too hot. I could imagine if it blocks him all the way down. That'd be an awful situation. So I can understand J.J. Watt's line of thought on this. I don't know if he washed out. I mean, he's got injury issues. I'm not going to lie about that. But when he's on the field, he's still dangerous. But that's J.J. Watt at this point in his career is kind of like the way Bob Sanders was when Bob Sanders was on the Colts, right? When he's on the field, he's a dynamic, impactful player. But that's when he's on the field. I mean, the man has so many injury problems, he's not on the field very much. Right? It's kind of like what you expected with Carson Wentz, right? Last year was his healthiest season he's ever had, but before that, it was basically rolling the dice. Is he going to be able to play the whole season or not? So, I'm hoping more people will opt to play. I'm hoping that the percentage loss of salary for opting out is closer to like 50% of your, contract. Jamie Miller, did you just describe Hooker's career? I have, yes. Hooker and Bob Sanders both had very similar situations when it comes to injury issues. Now, last year, Hooker actually played, I think it was 14 games. I think he only missed 2 games last season. Which, again, he had injury issues. And last year, a lot of people want to yell about Malik Hooker. Well, he wasn't that impactful, even though he played 14 games. He wasn't that impactful at his position because he wasn't playing the position that he was signed for. Yes, he was at strong safety, but if you went and looked, Malik Hooker was up near the line of scrimmage all the time because because the Colts had issues getting pressure and stopping the run early. They had to start bringing safeties up to stop the run and get pressure on quarterbacks. So Malik Hooker was playing more near the line of scrimmage than he was supposed to most of the time, instead of having a single high safety or a 2 deep safety look, to where he could actually make the plays that he was drafted to make. Oh, this? Do I think this could be an asterisk season? I wouldn't really call it an asterisk yet. When I say yet, I don't mind. Even if no fans were allowed in any stands in any NFL game this season, I still wouldn't call it an asterisk season. It becomes an asterisk season when the majority of your star players decide they don't want to play the football game. When you're looking at like a holdout or, a strike, like back in the day when you had a strike, they still played, right? The strike was basically through preseason. Next year's draft is going to be a mess. Jamie, I believe next year's draft is going to be a mess. And the Niners being clearly better than the Chiefs, you could make an argument for that. But at the same time, I mean, Mahomes was clearly a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo was. But then again, there was a lot of questionable no calls in that game, in the Super Bowl. But Jimmy also overthrew some very poignant plays as well. So, it is what it is. But I think the NFL season this year is going to be, I'm hoping for games. I hope the majority of the players will play the game. Obviously, if Von Miller or someone else that has breathing issues and stuff decides they don't want to play, I'm not going to hold it against them because I understand. But, I'm hoping. I mean, if you have seen the list of safety precautions that the NFL has just for training camp, it's ridiculous. I don't know how they're going to play football with the restrictions that they have. Now, it's safe going into this. The way they have it set up, they have monitors now where once you sign into the facility, they track you individually track you as you move through the facility. So if something comes back positive, they know who and what you've been in contact with, which is better than what a lot of teams and the way a lot of sports have handled it prior. But how are we going to deal with? I mean, this football's a contact sport. COVID is a contact virus, right? I mean, my goodness. Defensive linemen, offensive linemen, blocking, tackling, covering a cornerback, covering a wide receiver, a running back trying to get past a linebacker. Are we going to have two-hand touch sacks, right? Because of that? I don't know. I don't know. I hope not. Because if that happens, then yes, it is an asterisk season, and we might as well not even have the game in the first place. That's how I feel. Because there's no point in having a football game if you can't call it the NFL, right? You call it the F would not stand for football, it stand for flag league, right? It'd be the National Flag Football League, the NFFL. in that scenario. But the draft is going to be nasty. Jamie, I fully agree with you. The draft is going to be so nasty. Trevor Lawrence is definitely going to be the first pick, right? There's no question about it. You've already got a lot of NCAA colleges that are talking about possibly not playing. All of your entire Ivy League has canceled football this season. That's what I care about the players' health. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if it's a flag game, then call it that, and then we'll have an asterisk season. That's fine. I would like, and I am hopeful that the NFL will have the proper precautions in. Teams have daily COVID testing. Daily. And it's not with those long, super long Q-tips that are evasive that go all the way down into your lungs, basically, and then they pull it out. Yeah, that's what I meant, Ivy League. they're a lot shorter, and it goes back into your nasal passage and comes out. And that you have to do that daily now as an NFL player. And if you get sick, then you have to have 2 false readings before you're allowed to play again. You don't think the games will be a problem? The issue will be getting the whole league of young guys to conduct themselves in the right. So that's the issue. Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. It has a lot to do. Don't have your party guys, right? Don't go out to the bars and stuff. Don't go out and have party. Like what you saw with Ezekiel Elliott. Wasn't it Ezekiel Elliott or was it Dak Prescott? I can't remember. I think it was it was Dak. It was Dak Prescott who had that party. And, you can't do stuff like that in this kind of situation. Especially when you're bringing that stuff back to your team. During the season, you can't do stuff like that. I believe, if I remember correctly, Phillip Rivers, right? He's got 10 kids and his wife. And he said he won't be seeing them except for on video camera and stuff during the season. That's smart, right? That's just a smart thing to do because, one, you don't want to bring something to your family, and B, you don't want to bring something from your family in case they catch it back to the other 53 players and coaches and stuff on your team. So kind of bubble yourself off a little bit if you can. 10 kids. Yeah, right? 10 kids. I don't know. I'm not really expecting a whole lot from Joe Burrow this year. I don't think the Cincinnati Bengals is that big of a team. I don't think they have enough talent on that team. They did grab him a wide receiver. He's got a good running back in Joe Mixon. But how many rookie quarterbacks, when they first come into the NFL, play well? It don't happen. It just don't happen. Their first years usually suck. Look at Peyton Manning, right? I mean, generally, your first years usually aren't that good. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, but it's rare that you have a first-year quarterback play exceptional football during his rookie year. I'm kind of hoping. Wow. One of these days I'll learn English. I'm kind of hoping that this whole situation is being blown up a little bit. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying that the COVID situation is being blown out of proportion, but I'm hoping it is. I personally, out of my entire extended family, me, my mom, my dad, my siblings, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, I have over 200 people in my extended family. Yes, a massive family. I don't know a single person that has come down with it. I have no friends that have come down with it, right? I don't know anyone personally that has came down with the COVID-19. I'm not saying it's fake, though. I just don't know it. Now, I've had people that tell me, I've had it, or my sister's had it, or, my cousin or my best friend or whatnot. I'm just hoping that it calms down quite a bit. Rookie impact's going to be severely limited this year. Do you think they'll still get it done with? Oh yeah, I think they'll get things done. I think rookies will still play well. You got to remember, like I said, rookie quarterbacks generally don't play well their first year. Same with wide receivers. Running backs usually do a very good job their first year. Pass rushers usually they could do well their first year. Same with linebackers. It's cornerbacks, wide receivers, offensive linemen, and quarterbacks that generally their first year is not their best year. They usually take a year or two to get acclimated to the speed and the complexity of the NFL. You know what's sad? The Indianapolis Colts team, they haven't hosted a home primetime game in like 4 years. That's pretty sad. And that's one of the reasons why the Colts really aren't known nationally. They just look at the team and say, well, they had a 7-9 season, they suck. But they don't, because that 7-9 season comes with context, right? Starting quarterback getting hurt beginning of the season. Backup quarterback gets hurt halfway through, or not gets hurt beginning of the season, retires at the beginning of the season. Backup quarterback gets hurt halfway through the season. Their top three wide receivers are hurt throughout the season. They're relying on their four-string wide receiver. Their receiving tight end, Eric Ebron's hurt throughout the year and then goes on IR when he darn well pleases. Half their linebacking core and half their defensive backs hurt halfway through the season. It's too early to talk about the combine. It's too early to talk about the combine. This past year, I don't think the combine actually did anything wrong. As for, I like the combine. I love the combine. It gives your everyday fan a chance to look at the rookies as they come in, right? See how they do. It gets them all in one area so that individual teams can bring them in and ask these players questions and stuff. I love it. Huh? Pittsburgh created what? I don't know what all that is. I still say that the draft is important. I think it's very important. I mean, granted, I think the combine is so darn. I think the combine's important for the individual teams, not the players. Like, they go out there and they run. The stats isn't that important. I think it's the interviews that's important. I think it's the personal one-on-one interviews. That way, players and coaches can find out what kind of person, not just player, but what kind of person that player is. So, that's why I think that's such a very, very important time in the NFL. That's not making any sense, but okay. So, Indianapolis is expecting 25% over under. And when it comes to fan attendance, that's a big situation. Will there be fan attendance, though? Like I said, you got the Jets and the Giants and a few other teams that are already saying they're not going to have any fans. You got Baltimore and some others that are limiting it to like 14,000 maximum. And then with the way the Colts now have their season tickets this year split into two different sections, you got your Plan A and your Plan B, where you got the first 4 home games, and then you got the second 4 home games, just in case the COVID situation adjusts fan attendance throughout the season. So we'll see how that works out. If you enjoyed watching this stream, please hit the like button. Give me a follow if you're on Sportscaster. If you're on YouTube, give me a subscription. And man, this was fun. I wanted to get you guys a little bit of information. Next week, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have an interview actually scheduled for next week. I'm not exactly sure if I can say who it is, but as it becomes more apparent, I will announce it on Twitter. Until next time, I appreciate everyone being here. On Sportscaster, like I said, Joey54 and Flying High, thanks for joining. Texas Gal, thank you for the follow. Jenny Hawk, thank you for the follow here on Sportscaster. I am part of Sportscaster News. I am the official Sportscaster News affiliate for Sportscaster. So go to Sportscaster, check out Lawrence Owen, my channel, if you're watching here on YouTube, and give me a follow there. That way you're notified next time I go live. And if you're on Sportscaster, check me out, Lawrence Owen, on YouTube. I upload a lot of videos, especially just about anything I cover on Sportscaster. I also do a lot of film rooms on YouTube. Chris Coulter, it would be strange to see football games with no fans, but I don't think you'll see it as much because I don't think it'll be as big of a deal as you think it will, because they will still be pumping in crowd noise, and the cameras just won't pan out to the seats like they used to. You know, where you would see a lot of fans, they would pan out. It would just be mostly straight up on the field all the time. And you'll probably get a lot more reporter talk, right? So I don't think it'll be as noticeable as you think, but it will be noticeable to the teams. So until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and I want you to have a good one.